and down. It's like the vibration, right? That's why we have the law of rhythm, because the vibration, at least in a two-dimensional field, looks like this. And if it's a really high vibration, it's going like this. If it's a really low, slow, long vibration, it's going like this, going like that. But regardless, it's got the ups and the downs. It's got the rhythm. The rhythm is what keeps life going. Is what keeps life in balance. It's what keeps integrating the concept of the light body with Hermetic teachings of the Kabbalion. Gives us a pretty dense framework for spiritual transformation. The Kabbalion introduces read it and weep, 7 Hermetic Principles that elucidate the nature of reality and the path to higher consciousness, or a more refined consciousness. By aligning these principles with the awakening of the light body, one can embark on a journey of profound self-realization. And hopefully some serious manifestation, hopefully some serious actualization of the pure potential into actualized reality. Good luck. Let's go. My name is Keith. Follow if you're new. Anywho, so what we're going to do is we're going to speak about the 7 principles and how it relates to the light body. And I'll try to keep the principles short because I literally wrote a book on, I don't know where my book went. Anywho, I wrote a book on the Hermetic teachings of the Kabbalion, and oh my goodness, so we could talk about this for the next 6 hours, but I'll try to keep it short as it pertains to the light body. 1, the principle of mentalism, which says the all is mind. The all is mind. The universe is a mental universe, meaning we exist in the mind of the all. We are created in the mind of all. Creation begins with thought, in other words. This posits that the universe and all within are manifestations of a universal mind. Right? So to awaken the light body, one must cultivate a disciplined mind, focusing on, well, I don't want to say positive, but we can say, here's the thing. It's not necessarily about ascension in the terms of ascending to get to the final destination, because we don't get to the final destination of our own volition. We get to our destination when God says so, or when the all says so, or source, or the undefined thing that preceded all things before and ever to come, existing, that produces all of the infinite cosmos within the mind of itself, and yet is outside of even infinity itself. Point being, in order to awaken the light body, we have to cultivate the mind. If you cultivate the mind, you cultivate the life body. And we cultivate the mind by basic shit that we've always talked about. Don't listen to garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. You reap what you sow. Yada, yada, yada. We know why. Let's get to the next one. The principle of correspondence, which you guys know as above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. This is the second axiom of the Hermetic philosophy, or of at least as described by the Kabbalion. Correspondence is like looking at a river delta and then looking at the palms of your hands and how they make the same patterns and same shapes. By understanding the correspondences between these planes, because they happen on all planes, we can navigate our journey more effectively in a more refined manner. Recognizing the interconnectedness of all levels of reality aids in aligning our physical and our spiritual selves, facilitating the activation, again, of the light body. Because you got to remember, what happens on one plane of existence happens on them all. To varying degree. We study math on Earth so that we can determine the movement of the heavens thousands of light years away. Because as above, so below. Now, next, we're going to the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. And because it vibrates, it has a frequency. And because it emits a frequency, it has a signature in this world. match the signature, and then that signature resonates with you. It starts to vibrate, right? Because when two like or similar frequencies come into contact with each other, there's a synchronistic, harmonious vibration that grows in amplitude between those two things. Like when you pluck a violin string and it vibrates with another string of the same note, because it matches, it resonates, and they both grow each other. By knowing this, we activate the light body. By practicing this, we activate the light body. When people say elevate your frequency by meditating, that's not right. I need to make a whole separate video on this, but that's not it. Don't think of it in terms of raising your frequency or lowering your frequency, raising your hertz or lowering your hertz. Think of it as trying to create a frequency outside of yourself, period. Right? Because we say you're an actor and you want to act out extreme sadness, but then you have to tap into your sadness. But there are ways of tapping into your sadness to where you can authentically feel it and recreate it, right? You would say, oh, happiness is a higher vibration than sadness. Well, it's like, who cares? Sometimes you're trying to access sadness. Sometimes you're trying to access happiness. So it's not about raising or lowering a frequency. It's about the ability to match a frequency. It's about the ability to become a frequency of the thing that you want, so that when the thing that you want, when it has counterparts out in the world, those objects begin to resonate, right? Because I wish I had a musical instrument. Because when two neighboring objects match each other in frequency, they vibrate off of each other. And they grow, and the noise grows. Musicians think of feedback. The sound goes in the microphone comes out of the speakers, the sound of the speakers goes back into the microphone, and it makes a crazy-ass high-pitched frequency. It's kind of like that. Not exactly like that, but it's kind of like that. So when we attune ourselves to the vibrational states that we want, you can say that you're becoming a master, an adept, and therefore your light body becomes more accessible and more active, because you're literally personally engaging with it, engaging with frequencies that you want to emit. Am I recording? Oh, thank God. I recorded a video and was like 10 minutes into it, and the record button I wasn't on. It is. Anywho, we're moving on to the principle of polarity, which is pretty basic. It says everything that exists has an opposite. We exist upon that which resists us. We exist because we are defined against another thing. It is black because it is not white. It is light because it is not darkness. You know what I mean? So the catch is opposites are actually the same thing. What differs is their degree of manifestation. Hot and cold are the same thing. We're measuring temperature. The difference between hot and cold, well, where does that manifestation of temperature take place? Does it take place at 40 degrees or does it take place at 100 degrees? You're still measuring degrees, but on different points of the scale. Bada bing, bada boom. It was hard for me to kind of come up with one for polarity and activating the light body. I was like, I can probably swing it. I think I did. Hear me out. So if we can harmonize the polarities within ourselves and understand that they are both the same thing, manifesting at different scales or different parts of the scale, we have a more holistic, objective viewpoint, in where we don't get caught up in the swings of our manifested poles. Like, say you get extraordinarily angry, and you're going, okay, that's not the anger. I'm angry because I'm angry, and that's it. I don't have to attach a story to it. I don't have to give it a name. I don't have to do anything really. It is what it is. I'm fearful. Oh, well, if I'm fearful, cool. So fear and courage are the same thing, right? Opposites. So this is just, I'm in a state of fear because I'm being presented with an opportunity to be courageous. Great. Now I have an opportunity to grow because they are both the same thing. You know, when you kind of use your mind and your imagination and your creativity to play the game, but you got to play the game right. Okay. So the next one is law of rhythm. So we understand polarity and we understand the dual nature of the world. Um, we integrate the light body. Now we alluded to the principle of rhythm already, which says now that you have polarity, the energies will swing between both. The energies will swing back and forth between the two poles, night and day. Seasons will come and go. The seasons of your mood will come and go. Women's cycle is a season that comes and goes. There's peaks and we have valleys and we have valleys and we have peaks and up and down. It's like the vibration, right? That's why we have the law of rhythm, because the vibration, at least in a two-dimensional field, looks like this. And if it's a really high vibration, it's going like this. If it's a really low, slow, long vibration, it's going like this, going like that. But regardless, it's got the ups and the downs. It's got the rhythm. The rhythm is what keeps life going. It's what keeps life in balance. It's what keeps contrast, and the movement of energies. Thank God we're not experiencing happiness 24/7, because it would be meaningless if it was what would you even know about happiness if it was the only thing you ever experienced? You know, if you lived on a tropical island and you had access to coconuts and you were like, "Hey, do you like apples?" Apples. I've only ever eaten coconuts, bro. What do you mean, do I like apple? You haven't experienced an apple? I mean, I've only ever experienced a coconut, bro. I mean, are they good? I mean, I get hungry and I eat them. They're good in that that they keep me from dying. But I mean, what do you mean good as compared to what? That's my point. So that's what rhythm provides us with: change. It provides us with balance, with cycles. Recognizing these rhythms enables us to navigate life's challenges with grace. By aligning with the natural rhythms of the universe, this is the hack, we can synchronize our personal energy with the cosmic flow, facilitating the activation and expansion of the light body through, again, tying in with seasonal patterns. Because the pendulum is a swing, and it's nice to hop on the swing when it's swinging down. Then you can use the energy of the swing to your advantage. You're not going to want to hop on a swing when it's flying back in your face. No, you're going to destroy yourself and possibly the swing. Right? So we activate the light body through the law of rhythm by tying ourselves into the natural swings of life so that we work smarter and not harder. The next is the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect. Every action has its equal and opposite reaction. You cannot have an effect that doesn't tie into a piece of the cause, and you cannot have a cause that does not have a seed of it within the effect. The all was the original cause, and you and I are an endless amount of effects rippling into the rippling into the fabric of all the multiverses. It's the law of causation, where every action has a corresponding reaction. By understanding this, we take conscious actions that lead to desired outcomes. Engaging in positive actions and thoughts generates harmonious energies that support the awakening and the growth of the light body. It's basically the more perfect causes you have, the more perfect effects you have. And this is it's almost too simple. I feel like this helps the logical mind. This helps the logical mind more than the subconscious mind. Well, at least for me, for myself, and that's because it's like a system. It's like a machine. You literally beep boop beep, put in some numbers. You press 2 + 2, and it's going to equal 4. 99.9 times out of 100, 2.2 is going to equal 4. The only time it's not going to equal 4 is maybe one of the 2's gets multiplies somehow and has a baby, and now you're not working with 2. Point remains the same. Point being, if you have more perfect causes in your life, you're going to have more perfect effects. On average. Yeah, someone can run a red light and T-bone your car. Yeah, someone can go to war with your country. Like, there are extreme outliers that will inhibit your ability to make decisions of your own volition. Welcome to planet Earth, baby. You're a human, and while you're striving for the perfect life, so are 7 billion other people. And when we come into contact with those people, we influence each other's spheres. Sometimes we cause disharmony and agitation, and it just destroys our own little bubble. And sometimes we meet like-minded individuals. And like we talked about resonance earlier, we feed off of each other because we have matching frequencies. We begin to vibrate with each other and grow with each other and feel wonderful around each other. That's why we feel so stoked around certain people, because our vibes are intermingling. We should put that, someone make a note and have us do a whole video on that, because that's a good one. That's what it means to vibrate, to vibe. When we say, oh, you vibe with her? Yeah, I vibe with her. You literally, we even have it in our language, even though we don't realize it. We are saying we vibrate with them. That's what resonance does. Resonance has the ability to vibrate other objects without touching them, simply because they're tuned to the same frequency. It's fucking magic. Oh my God, it's magic. So, there's a light body activation. The principle of gender, last but certainly not least. It's kind of like polarity, but it's a little more nuanced, saying that you're always going to have feminine and masculine in the creation of anything. The more perfect the feminine and the more perfect the masculine, the more perfect the creation. Psychology has right brain, left brain. One's logical and sort of hyper-focused, and the other one's sort of irrational, more creative, more abstract, more concerned with the whole instead of the individual. And we need both of those. Neither one is better than the other. They both have their roles. They both have their strengths. They both have their weaknesses, but they make up for each other's strengths and weaknesses. It's the beauty of it all. This is the law. This is the principle of gender. So balancing these energies within ourselves leads obviously to wholeness and a boost in the light body. By integrating and harmonizing both of these aspects, we create a unified energy field that supports the activation and expansion of the light body. Think of what the mystics have always called the aura. Science was like, you're ridiculous, such thing doesn't exist. And they go, oh yeah, what's that? And they go, that's not the aura, bro, that's the human's electromagnetic field. And they go, well, does it carry information? I read an article. They go, of course it carries information. It has all sorts of information. It's the electromagnetic field. How could it not contain information? It's frequency and waves. All frequency and waves are information. So they basically said, without saying, that auras exist and we can tell about a person based on their aura. They call it an electromagnetic field. Now, if you harmonize the feminine and the masculine, that's the EM field. Think of a magnet. You have the masculine side and you have the feminine side, right? A battery, masculine side, the feminine side. You have the anode and the cathode. One broadcasts the electrons out, which is the masculine side. The masculine projects, think of man. And the woman, the passive side, receives the impulse, and once it receives the impulse, it uses that information to generate something else. Think of a plant. Think of the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the moon up above and a thing called love. I haven't heard that song in a long time, but honestly, the birds and the bees, the masculine, when you're creating something or when you're trying to integrate something, or when you're trying to unify your own personal psyche, you have to balance these two out. Men tend to be masculine because of biologics. Like, think of the hormones that course through men's veins, to making them, having a tendency to make them more aggressive, more assertive, more dominant, because of the hormones inside of them. Testosterone, for example. And then the female hormones they're pumping through their bodies tend to make them more communal, more abstract. Anyway, I don't want to say more because in today's climate I might cut this whole section out, maybe not, I don't know. Point being, by integrating and harmonizing the masculine and feminine aspects of our being, we create a unified field that supports the activation and expansion of the light body. Of course, some practical steps to integrate these would be meditation, mindfulness, standard shit. Energy healing practices, maybe not so standard. Leave a comment. Leave a comment if you're an energy healer. Sound therapy is always super dope. Visualization works. We did a video on chaos magic, which goes heavy into meditation. If you want to see some notes on really dope meditation practices, go check out our videos on chaos magic. I posted them within the past couple weeks. They shouldn't be too deep on the channel. But by integrating the Hermetic principles of the Kabbalion with the concept of the light body, y'all and myself can start cracking on some serious astral domination toward higher consciousness and in the astral realms. This approach harmonizes the mind, the body, and the spirit, integrating the big three, facilitating a deeper connection with the universal energies that govern all existence. Good luck. Godspeed. If you made it this far in the video, like and subscribe. My name's Keith. I've almost forgot there's a tapestry of existence. And in this tapestry lies a truth often overlooked. The essence of our being transcended to physical form. Though we are not mere flesh, we're not mere bone. We are beings of light, of energy, vibrating at frequencies beyond the comprehension of the awakened. The Kabbalion, one of my favorite texts, my absolute favorite, rich with wisdom, speaks of the principle of vibration, that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. This is the key to understanding the light body, the subtle radiant aspect of ourselves that exists beyond the material.